Hello viewers, welcome to day 2. Just to figure out where we left off. So we left off with a couple of little fun problems to solve. First was that, if you remember, we have this differential here, prop shaft here, 4 bolts holding them together. I couldn't get those bolts apart, there's just not enough clearance and it's causing problems. So I had a little look online, and I don't think I need to. I think I can just actually shimmy this whole connecting plate from the diff, which is on a slip yoke anyway, and just leave this all as one part. All I'm going to do is kind of strip it down a bit and spray it anyway, so that probably solves itself anyway. These bolts here that are 100% seized is, according to the internet, a completely normal phenomenon. It's again a really funny design. You've got a bolt there that goes all the way through bushing 1, through the carrier, exposed to the elements there, which I've never seen, through bushing 2 of the wishbone, and then out there just with a nut on the end. And you know, that massive 250mm bolt has just got seized in the bushing there and just where it's exposed to the elements, so just a mess. Force, heat, penetrating fluid, all the usual stuff needs to get it apart, fingers crossed, and then assess the damage and probably get some new bolts. Good thing about this car is it's well serviced, so online, so there's plenty of spare parts and stuff. The next challenge was we need to get this subframe off, and the bolts have rusted and kind of wrecked the threads on the bolts, and so you can't get those nuts off without basically snapping these bolts off, which are welded to the frame of the car, and once they snap off you can't really repair them. So it's going to be a case of cleaning up these threads today, re-threading the bolts so we can see if we get it off, and just taking our time on it. If we can get that done, then I guess we're moving on to the front. In fact, an interesting phenomenon on this car is, if you remember last time, the differential was held in there to the car, but not on the front. Again, which I've never seen on any car, ever. The gearbox is the same phenomena. It's not actually connected to the car. It's bolted to the engine, obviously, the engine block, and then just hovers in mid-air and doesn't actually touch the car. I would love to know if anyone knows why this is such a thing. Sorry, I just realised I was zoomed in. Yeah, and it's a floating design, and what keeps it all in place is this, known as a PPF, which is a structural bar, I found out on the internet, which connects the diff directly and structurally to the gearbox and ensures they keep exactly the right spacing all the time. So you've got this weird kind of floating setup that, again, I've never seen before, when a prop goes in the PPF. Now, when it's all fine, but when I restore this and put the PPF back in place, I have to align it properly so that the gearbox and the differential are properly aligned. So that's something I'll have to think about at that point. Yeah, I will get started. Welcome back. It's going pretty good. So the prop ended up coming off the diff absolutely fine in the end. It's just a case of using the right tool, impact socket, rather than, you know, normal stuff. So that's come down, broke down, prop's fine, PPF's fine. Managed to get the rear subframe off, which is great. And the way we did that, just to remind you, is these screws, bolts had gone super rusty, so I cleaned them up with a wire brush just to get them as best I could. Then re-tapped them, re-dyed them with this guy here, which remakes the thread, which was a pain in the butt, but it's done now because of restricted access. So they're rethreaded, and they're lovely new bolts, no snap bolts, no welding needed, absolutely beautiful. And that's all come off fine. So the next task, I think the fuel tank is going to come off. It doesn't really need to, it looks almost perfect condition, to be honest. But if we're going this far, we may as well go the whole hog. So we're going to drop that down once I figured out how to do it. And then I guess we start on the front. Welcome back, viewers. A few more hours gone. I thought I'd update you. So where we left off, we were doing the fuel tank. I've just been letting that drain, so I thought I would get on with the front for the time being while that's working. So I've stripped down the near side front corner completely, wishbones, everything's gone. Some good and bad. Generally it came apart okay, but all of the ball joints I had to break to get out, basically. They're all probably original 26-year-old steel on steel old style, so this guy's gone, so I'll have to replace that rod end, which is fine, not a problem. The subframe, rusty, but it's okay. Just going to have a look at some bits that came off. Upper wishbone, So again, I had to break the ball joint to get it out. They just seize, obviously they're designed to seize, and it was just a bit too much to get out. Maybe I could have done it with more heat, I don't know. But to be honest, it's a pretty good idea to change the ball joints anyway. They're 26 years old, so they're probably a pressed type by the looks of it. I'll have to figure that out at some point. So yeah, there you go. As well as that, the bushings all around the car I'm going to have to think about at some point. I've got like a dozen bushings that need looking at, more than a dozen bushings. Figure out how they come out, because I'm going to have to get them out to replace them as well. Lower wishbone, didn't have anything to break on it, which is nice. Drop link, obviously a consumable item anyway, so when you do that. Hub came apart nicely. Brake dust shields in great condition, which is great. Brakes are dirty but fine. Hub and carrier are fine. I managed to save that ball joint there. It's a big ball joint, main ball joint, it's pretty good, so I don't really want to replace that if I don't have to. Carrier's fine. Hub's really nice condition, just needs a proper clean up obviously. Anti-roll bar came off fine. May need to replace those bushings, don't know, have to think about it. And that's where we are. So it's coming apart slowly but surely. Welcome back, viewers. Other side done, exactly the same as it was. So I had to smash top ball joint, had to smash this guy here, rod end ball joint. Otherwise came out okay. Trying to decide what to do next. Can't really be bothered to do fuel tank today because I need to drop the car back down. So I'm wondering whether to take the front bumper off and the rear bumper off and kind of get in front of that and behind that, and I can't really be bothered, to be honest. But as I'm making all of the effort of doing this, I think I might as well just do it anyway, give it a little check, and allows me to spray those bits as well. So I think I'll just get on with it, do the bumpers. Welcome back, viewers. End of day 2, another 7 hours done. That is where we stand at the moment. Let me show you. So obviously I did the front suspension and just started taking the mud guards, the splash guards off and stuff like that, which is all fine. Right, in terms of what we're doing next week, we'll whip the front bumper off, we'll whip the rear bumper off, we better get the fuel tank out finally, we'll get the shocks off in all 4 corners, they undo from the top of the car. And then we've just got to focus on what I guess is the last bit, which is this subframe here at the front. Now that's not going to be too easy because that holds the engine and the gearbox in. So if I remove that, the engine and the gearbox fall out, which is most depressing. So what I've got to do, I've just got to go, went and got a load of wood. I've got to build a jig that holds from the ground the engine in and the gearbox in place, perfectly in place, so I can remove this somehow, and the engine will stay there, so that should be interesting doing that. Brake lines and fuel lines, although they're actually fine, I'll probably take them off anyway, just because I can, and refresh them. That's it. Good day overall. I will catch up with you next week.